Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to The Pulse, everybody, on the America's Pulse Network. I am your host tonight, Alexandra Levine from Alexandra Levine Live. Since January 20th, 2025, President Trump has signed 157 executive orders, brought Elon Musk into head Doge, and discovered that people ages 150 to 300 are still collecting Social Security. President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance keep calling out Zelensky's bluff. 1,600 illegals a day are being removed from our country, and the Trump tax cuts are going into expansion soon. The cost of gas and eggs is finally going down. The manufacturing jobs are on the up and up, and corrupt federal employees are getting the boot. Sounds like a great day for America, right? Sounds good to me. These are things I voted for. These are things we, the people, have been waiting 4 years for. But unfortunately, some Republicans in Congress have forgotten that, mind you. But I'm not talking about the Republicans that keep fighting for their constituents and keep fighting to cut down the spending. I'm talking about the members in Congress that kowtow to the one or two Democrat constituents and kowtow to lobbyists and social interest groups, the ones that keep stuffing the pork into bills that were perfectly done before they got their hands on them. It's not President Trump's fault that the Republicans in Congress can't get their acts together. Remember, Trump doesn't write the bills. He can advise and make suggestions, but he doesn't pass the bills. Congress passes the bills. Trump signs the passed bills. Remember, Congress passes the laws. So if President Trump has to keep coming up to Capitol Hill to get his agenda pushed forward for we the people, I feel bad for him. There should already be a consensus. These congressmen were elected or reelected because of Trump. These new senators were elected because of Trump, and the incumbent senators were re-elected because of President Trump. President Trump got so many Democrats and independents to cross the aisle and vote for him in the general, because at the end of the day, the majority of the people agreed that our country was going down the toilet. If we had free and fair elections in all 50 states, we'd be able to really see the true election results. But now we, the people, are asking for real results. We want to see more illegals leaving our country. We want to see real criminals locked up. We want to start to see fentanyl permanently removed from our country and the decrease of anti-Semitism. We want to see the removal of Section 8 housing in wealthy neighborhoods and at historic landmarks like Fort Howard, Maryland. We want to see the removal of sanctuary counties, states, and cities. And we want to see the removal of gender identity and CRT out of our school curriculum. That's why the Big Beautiful Bill Act is so important to pass. This bill will not only expand the 2018 Trump tax cuts, but will also make our country wealthy and safe again. Isn't that why you congressmen and senators got elected and reelected, to do these things for we the people? So do your job, stop the bullshit, and let's make America great again. Now, we have a jam-packed hour for you guys tonight, so let's introduce to you my other hosts and guests. This man lived in Pennsylvania, but decided to jump to the Jersey Shore. Our very own Damon Galdo from the Jersey Shore.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Woo! Thank you. Now, this man has been in the hospital for surgeries more than Dolly Parton. Our very own Popeye the Sailor Man, Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner.
I'm not wearing any pants.
Nice. And this Floridian is smart but feisty when it comes to her bananas. Our very own Elena Barber from the Based Mother.
Bananas again. There we go.
Our fruit liaison, everybody. And our special guest. Now, this guy turned from Russell Crowe in Gladiator to Chris Hemsworth in Thor overnight. Our very own Tim Fazenbaker.
Are you not entertained?
Very nice, guys. Well, let's bring all of us up, all five of us. There we go. So segment one starts with hot topics. And I know that each of us has a hot topic. So our first hot topic, let's go to Damon Galdo. What's your hot topic tonight?
Well, the hot topic, well, this is Pride Month. So that's been trending a lot. I've seen a lot of it on Facebook, on X, all social media platforms. And a lot of people are torn between it. I've seen a lot of people that, I'll give you an example. One of our councilmen, Peter Del Barillo here, he posted something, Happy Pride Month. And a lot of Republicans jumped down his throat for it. and there was some good reason for it, and some of the things that were said were a little over the top as well. But the reason why I think Pride Month is catching so much flack is, well, let's start with this person.
Let's go to the
So there you have it. I mean, right there. I mean, look at that video. Now, again, what people do in the privacy of their own bedrooms, they should keep it there. They don't need to push it in everyone's face. And yet they have still done that, and that's what they've become known for. And that was even taken one step further. But then when you see a video like that and you're a parent and you see we're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. I mean, obviously it's going to put a bad taste in your mouth. And you're going to be really pissed off about it because, no, you're not coming for my damn children. I'll tell you that right now. Now, if one of my kids happen to grow up and they be gay, then it is what it is. I love them just as much as I do now. But the point is, you're not going to come and indoctrinate my kids. I'm going to raise them how I raise them, and they're going to make choices when they're adults. And that's the way it goes. Don't stay away from my kids. And if people during Pride Month get upset about that, I'm sorry. Rewatch that video. You're not coming for my kids. And you're the ones that made a bad name for Pride Month because you had to put it out there. And all these big corporations, these woke corporations donating so much money to Pride Month, they started it too. But I don't know if you guys have seen, a lot of them have pulled out. You have big companies like Clorox have pulled out. They used to donate. There's I don't know but what the NFL is doing, but I know the MLB caved. I believe at least 29 teams are celebrating Pride Month, and they're changing their logos and things like that. At least we don't have a trans flag or a gay flag hanging from our White House anymore, because there should be, American flag hanging there only. Among a couple others, but still, my point is, if you're going to put that out there, you're going to say that you're coming for your children, no wonder why you got a bad rap for the Pride Month. And do you need a whole month? I mean, really, I don't know. So you guys tell me what you think, because it's before I really didn't care too much about it, didn't pay too much attention to it. But then when you see something like that, it's like, oh, now I'm sorry. I'm never going to tell people I'm straight and I'm coming for your children, because that just doesn't sound right. Even saying you're straight and you're coming for the children. Anything coming for your children is horrible, by the way. And I'll leave this topic with this. I don't know if you guys remember that incident in Los Angeles, the Wee Spa. There was a trans man, whatever. So it was a man, anyway, goes into the spa, and there was a mother there with her daughters, and he comes in full naked, drops everything, sits down, and she flipped out on the spa. And he's a 2-1 registered sex offender. He spent multiple years in prison, and he goes into there and he says that he's a woman, and he gets naked in front of children. And he finally, this was back in 2021, 22, somewhere around there. And finally his court case was put up with him, and he was acquitted. And the reason why the jury acquitted him is because they said there was no proof, zero proof, that he had an erection, that he was aroused. Well, number one, he's a sex offender, okay? And he's a man, and he's going into a women's spa and just gets naked in front of young girls. Right there, I think that's the crime. I mean, I don't think you have to prove that he was aroused or not. He exposed himself to young children. So anyway, that's where I'll go with that. And I guess, and Tim, I wanted to ask you too. I saw something on Facebook, a big announcement coming up. I don't know if you announced it yet, but if not, I'm saving for later. But I know it is Pride Month, so I was expecting something. So
You never know.
No, I saw that. I was curious what it was.
We'll leave it at that.
But so go ahead.
So guys, each person's gonna bring up their topic, and then they will discuss it, because we have a very short segment for this one. So Seth, I'm gonna have you talk about your hot topic and tell the audience about your topic.
Ilhan Omar, that shit stain from overseas, saying America is not going to be a white country forever, or however she spewed that out. I don't pay attention to her. It's kind of like when you drive by a car accident, you kind of glance, but you don't look because you don't want to be that person. When she talks, I kind of listen, but don't, because I don't want to be that person, because nothing intelligent has ever come out of that pie hole of hers to begin with. The only thing smart that's got into it is her brother's tongue. So I got nothing to do with her. I'm here all week, folks. Try the fish. If that doesn't spew and scream, I'm racist, I don't know what does. And she'd be the first asshole to scream out and yell if I got on TV and said this won't be a black country forever. She'd be the first one screaming and yelling about that. Oh, it's racist. And he's got to go. I don't know how she's still in this country, number one. I just can't get my head around that. Number two, I don't know how she continually gets elected. They're just not listening to her talk where she's from. They just go, oh, that's Ilhan. Vote for her because she's retarded and we feel sorry for her. We need to give her a job. She's an idiot, a racist idiot that doesn't deserve to have a job as a dog catcher in her county, let alone the position she has now. And if we don't get rid of people like her soon, it's not gonna happen, but it's gonna get rough. It's gonna start getting out of hand when these people in positions of power say, "Hey, white people don't belong here." People will start to listen to them, and people will start to act on that because, hey, my congressman or senator said they shouldn't be here, so that gives me the right to get them out of here. Words have consequence. Yeah, you got the First Amendment, but you still got to be careful of what you say because if it incites violence, it's not a right anymore. I think she's an idiot, a full-blown idiot.
I agree. And just to add to that before we go to the next topic, Tim and I's friend, Congressman Brandon Gill, he's actually talked about revoking Ilhan Omar's visa. Good. And it needs to happen because she needs to go back to Somalia. Elena, what's your hot topic?
Well, I want to talk tonight about a woman named Larisha Sherrill Thompson. She's a 42-year-old mother of two from Lancaster, South Carolina, and we can take that picture down now. That's fine. So she was driving to a friend's house, and a car pulled up next to her, and inside the car were 6 illegal aliens, and they shot her to death while she was sitting in the driver's seat of her own car. It was an attempted robbery. They couldn't get into her. Car after they shot her, so they just scrambled away really quickly. It took the cops a few days to track them down and arrest them all, but it was pretty easy because they're dumb and there were cameras everywhere. And once they got them and they took them into court, and in court they were reading from their texts that they had exchanged after the shooting, and they said things like mission fail, and this is just the beginning. So their intention was to just go around murdering Americans and stealing whatever they can from them. The crazy thing is these people were aged 13 through 21 years old. 3 of them were minors. And there were other videos of them robbing a convenience store and shooting guns, and they're just absolute animals. So this mother of 2 now is dead. You're not going to hear a word from Democrats. You're not going to hear a word from Black Lives Matter. Her Black life does not matter. And according to all of them, as far as I'm concerned, because there were illegal aliens involved. The sheriff in Lancaster, South Carolina, said that they're going to keep them in custody, but ICE has a detainer on them and is ready to pick them up if they happen to get out on any sort of a technicality. But that's where we're at. And so I just can't stress enough to people who are listening, like, just because Trump's in office and Tom Homan and ICE, they're doing their job, we are still in tremendous danger in this country, and people are still dying. We had the Texas girl, 18-year-old girl in Texas, got killed by the illegal alien on a jet ski last week when she ran into her kayak. People are still being raped, robbed, murdered. They're still bringing fentanyl and killing Americans that way. It has to stop.
I agree with you on that. And as you know, 1,600, I think, criminals are being removed every day. And President Trump says he wants to make it 3,000, but people are saying that's not even enough because, again, Joe Biden with Barack Hussein Obama and others put in 21 illegal immigrant or criminals into our country, including illegal terrorists. And I agree that more needs to be done. And, we all know Thomas Homan. He's doing the job, but he's only one person. That's why with the big, beautiful bill, they want to put more money into acquiring ICE agents and more border patrol so we can get as many illegals out as we can. Now, going to Mr. Fazenbaker, what is your hot topic for tonight?
Is Elon a Nazi? Well, he did this, right? Okay, and then he went like this. Look, both arms are going out. Nobody can say I did it. Okay, so Cory Booker, what did you do? You did exactly. Both arms going out. Can't get me. Okay, you did it twice. Just like Lee, I don't think it was a Nazi salute. But you know what? It wasn't a Nazi salute when Elon did it. What you're doing is just the left is just saying we're going to make Elon a bad guy because it fits our narrative. Oh, but we're not going to talk about Cory at all. So that's all I got tonight on that. Back to you.
Well, it's true. I mean, you know, they even said that about Steve Bannon too. Steve Bannon was at CPAC and, you know, he did like a gesture out like that and people accused him of being an anti-Semite and that he did a Nazi salute. I mean, when, you know,
do we have
when does it end? You know, when does it end? When does it stop? You know, and it's true. Nowadays, you have to be careful, you know, where you put your hands, you know, the gestures and stuff like that. You know, people talk about how President Trump does like the Illuminati, you know, type of position. You know, they talk about that too. So it's very interesting. It's very, very, very interesting.
I'm not playing careful. I talk with my hands, and that's it. And anybody that doesn't like the little things I do can pound it. And I go like this all the time. Okay. And I do it to liberals every time they say something stupid on social media. I give them the okay because I know it makes them mad because they're crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, me personally, I'm not telling anybody not to do one you know, move over another. I mean, I'm Jewish. We always talk with our hands. Italians, they always talk with their hands. It's a cultural thing. But the fact that nowadays you have to be careful how your hand gesture is, or how this crap is, or how that crap is, without the mainstream media and fake news, you know, calling you out and saying you're a Nazi. And when they did that thing with Elon Musk and they called him a Nazi, it was insane because, you know, Elon Musk, he's very pro-Israel. He's very pro-Jewish. He works with my Jexit organization. So when they were calling him a Nazi, I was laughing about the whole freaking thing. And then, of course, you know, Cory Booker, he knows what he's doing. You know, he's a mature human being. He knows what he's doing. And I think, in my opinion, he did that gesture as, you know, kind of a dig, you know, to the Republicans a little bit, a dig on Elon Musk, a dig on Steve Bannon, a dig on, you know, us that do that. I mean, the people that do that. But again, Kamala Harris did that form of a gesture. Nobody said anything. Hillary Clinton did that form of a gesture. Nobody said anything. But it's when Republicans do it, or when it's people that support Trump that do it. Now they're Nazis. Now it's a whole big thing.
Well, here's my form of gesture for anyone who calls me a Nazi. Okay, that's my form right there. Because doing like that, and I mean, don't we have a clip of our friend there, Cory Booker from New Jersey senator here?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, David Schrock, play the clip.
And I just want to clarify to all the listeners out there. Oh, there's the clip. It's kind of frozen. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
Whoa, yep. That was straight from the chest and up in the air. But no, he's not a Nazi. He's not at all. Now, I know he's not a Nazi. I know you all know that he's not a Nazi. He's an idiot. I know that.
Wait a minute. Because, you know, these guys accuse us of everything that they do.
Right.
You know what the Nazis did? The Nazis suppressed speech. The Nazis had a propaganda office. Then, you know, the Nazis played identity politics. The Nazis tried to force people to, you know, stay where they wanted them to, like these people did in COVID. Like, I don't want to hear it anymore that we're the Nazis. They actually do Nazi things.
Well, we can superimpose a Hitler speech over Cory Booker when he's doing that, so we can have like the audio of Hitler while he's doing that. I think that would be hilarious shit.
I'm sure that could be done.
And then put it throughout the entire internet. And this is really what he said at that speech. It wasn't what you heard. This is what he said.
Yeah. So Tim, we know that you're back. We know that you're having some, you know, issues a little bit, but we're going to bring you back up. Maybe it'll fix itself when you talk. So again, we're still talking about Cory Booker and the Nazi salute and how, you know, the Democrats, they, you know, say that we're Nazis when they do the same gestures. You know, what say you about that, Tim?
I guess he can't hear you. Tim, she was talking to you.
Oh, no.
So, so yeah, I guess Tim can't hear. He can't hear us.
Oh, no.
All right, well, maybe we'll jump off and try.
Yeah, Tim, maybe you should jump off again and come back on. And
anyway, I just want to say about the media, about the Democrats and the media with this stuff, which I know that you are all fed up with it as much as I am, and I know whoever's listening probably is too. But at what point that you get to where, number one, they call Elon Musk a Nazi. They call whoever does a gesture like that a Nazi. But then Cory Booker does it plain as day. And he wasn't, I mean, I'm just going to defend him and say he didn't intend to make it a Nazi gesture. Now, does his actions and what his words make him seem like a Nazi? Maybe. Yeah, propaganda that they spew, sure. But the point is, they're not saying anything about it. Democrats just leave it alone. What are you talking about? The mainstream media doesn't even touch it, doesn't even cover it when Elon was all over every single channel, Nazi, 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 Nazi. And then we just talked about the woman you were talking about, Lena. No one's covered it. There's no one out there protesting about it. It will be covered. It will be all over the media if it was a white person killed this black person. But the fact that it's an illegal immigrant, they can't go with the narrative. They can't go against it. The Democrats aren't going to say anything about it because it's going to make them look even worse. Mainstream media won't say anything about it because it's going to make them look even worse. I mean, it's horrible across the board. And now they're complaining about, now it's a whole mask thing. Oh, you can't have masked ICE agents. We're going to reveal your identities. Well, you know what? No. How about this? Maybe they're doing something. What do you want people to retaliate against their family? They would love that. They would love for someone to find out an ICE agent, their identity, and go retaliate against their family. And then they wouldn't even talk about it.
Of course.
I mean, Fox would, we would, but nobody else would talk about it. They sweep it on the rug. I'm so sick of mainstream media. I'm so sick of Democrats with their stuck-up attitudes, and they're only going to tell you what their narrative. I'm fed up with it.
Well, that's why we are not the mainstream media. We are not fake news. We are the new conservative media at the White House. The reason we're in the White House is because Caroline Leavitt, she asked for more conservative media to be at the White House to report fairly and to report honestly. I stand with Caitlin Collins, and I'm like, does she even know what the hell is coming out of her mouth? I mean, she's just an opinion piece. She's really just a mouthpiece, just a soundboard. And it's sick that she actually believes a lot of the crap that she asked the president. And I was talking about this today because I was at a meeting. I was speaking in front of a crowd today. And I said, when you go into the White House, it is an honor, number one, but it's about respecting the person in the office, whether you like the person or not. You have to have what they call decorum, number one, but also you don't go into the White House with intention of attacking the president of the United States or with the intention of attacking the vice president. That's not why you are asked to go into the Oval Office. You're not there to combat him. You are there to ask fair questions. You're there to ask the questions of we the people and the constituents in your state or in your district and so forth. You are not there to be disrespectful to the role. You're not there to be disrespectful to the president and the vice president, whoever else is there. So it's really disturbing that a lot of these, Caitlin Collins of the world are still in the Oval Office that are still being condescending to President Trump and J.D. Vance. It's really disgusting. I'm glad that they're going to be cutting funds of PBS and NPR and so forth. And they did get rid of Associated Press because they kept saying the Gulf of Mexico instead of the Gulf of America. And they did that on purpose. So it's really disgusting. Tim, I know you're back on. I hope everything is working. Can you hear me, Tim? Can you hear?
No, yes,
Tim, can you hear us? Are you on audio?
I heard you.
Oh, sweet.
Oh,
Okay.
think,
Awesome. Okay. So just, you get the last word on this. So we're just talking about like the mainstream media. We're talking about like the Caitlin Collins of the world, how they go in there and they're like so disrespectful to President Trump and JD Vance. Oh, did he leave? Okay, he left.
Well, they were never taught how to be respectful by their parents. They never got a good rap across the mouth when they spoke out and were disrespectful. They were never told, be quiet, the adults are talking, and it shows.
Exactly. So we're going into the second segment. Then after the second segment, we'll go into commercial. We'll all restart. So we're all back up. Hopefully Tim can get back on. So the second segment is also, near and dear to everybody's hearts. And I've said this before, is October 7th coming to America? I always say what happens over there will eventually creep in here. Again, I said earlier in the first segment, we have illegal terrorists that are in this country. The Mossad, which is the Israeli CIA and FBI, they warned the Biden administration that there was illegal Syrian refugees and illegal Afghan refugees in this country causing havoc. And as a result, we have these hashtag Free Palestine, we have this movement, which is now being called a domestic terrorist movement, which it is. I also said on my show that when you say hashtag Free Palestine, that has become the new Allahu Akbar. It's disgusting. It's really nasty. So as we know, we had this, quote, Colorado man, an illegal from Egypt. We found out that he was actually a part of the Muslim Brotherhood, which is a terrorist organization, which people have called President Trump to deem it a terrorist organization. CARE is also a terrorist organization. It should be deemed as such. And we find out that all of his family are illegals. We found out that their visas were revoked last night. I hope that they're, they're getting the hell out of here. I know that Al-Sisi in Egypt does not want them in there. He does not want the Muslim Brotherhood back in Egypt, or they may end up in Kuwait. We don't know, but just get them the hell out of our damn country. So we're going to play a clip right now of the Colorado man. Damon Stroud, to you.
We're here. We can't do nothing about that. We can't do nothing. We can. Not here. Not here, bro.
People are taking video right now. He was wearing an orange suit with like something on his mask.
Spraying alcohol.
Spraying alcohol, but what he did was he made it look like he was here.
He's making Molotov cocktails.
And for us,
Well, we can't do it when he's got Molotov cocktails in
if you are fighting, you have to.
That's what he's got right here. Is Molotov cocktails. Right there. It's alcohol.
Shirtless man.
Get back.
Why didn't Fat Boy drop a hammer on his face?
Exactly. So my question is,
Man with
Seth
no
and
shirt,
I,
middle age.
So, Seth, you and I, we've done, and Tim, you've been to these rallies with us too. We've done pro-Israel rallies. We've done, rallies to bring back the hostages. We've called for the release of hostages. But, thank God we have never had an issue. We have proper police protection there from Frederick State, from Frederick County. In Rockville, I know for a fact that there was people that came to my event that were armed. I told them to come because there was only one security guard. That's what has to happen. That's what has to happen. And
sorry, can I just pop in on something you said earlier, that the family of this man is being deported, but a federal judge today in Colorado blocked the deportation because they're not getting due process, and now they're set for a hearing on June 13th.
Are you kidding me? You're talking about his family or him?
Yeah, family.
Oh my God, like a vault. Let's see this is the activist judges again that all need to go to jail. It is disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
Well, you saw it. It's all over the news, and it's trending on social media too. That his daughter had hopes of being in the medical field, and now she'll never have that because she's being deported.
Who cares?
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. But that's what they're covering. They're not talking about the people that were hurt during this. I haven't seen anything.
I had hopes of being a starting linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but that shit didn't happen. You know what?
Yeah.
Get a life. Move on.
My ballerina dream is dead.
Yeah.
Look at me now. You know what? Why can't she practice medicine in Egypt?
Yeah, exactly.
Is she
Because
not allowed?
women can't.
Women?
That's why women can't.
Oh,
Yeah, that's true. But the fact that these illegal girls were accepted to colleges when when American citizens who work their butt off, they're trying to get into some universities or some of the best universities. University of Florida is one of the hardest universities to get into, and they're not getting in. But these illegals, they're getting in there to the University of Oregon or wherever she applied. I don't even know. It's illegal. It's illegal. Like, what the hell? What the hell? And then as we see a lot of these parents, they were former Hamas militants, they were former Muslim Brotherhood militants, and they raised their children into that environment. They raised their children to hate. Who the hell comes to a rally with a Molotov cocktail? It's disgusting. And what's even more disgusting is there was a Holocaust survivor, an 80-year-old woman, Holocaust survivor, who was burned by this. She could have died. She probably has third-degree burns. It's disgusting. She did not flee Nazi Germany to come to America to be burned by this illegal Egyptian Muslim Brotherhood guy. It's disgusting and it's asinine and it makes me sick. But again, there should have been more protection there. There should have been more police protection. Every person should have been armed. Well, I'm not going to say unfortunately, but every Jewish person should be armed. Every Christian person should be armed. I'm a big proponent of everybody carrying. I don't care how you carry. I don't care if you take a burner gun with you. I don't care how you carry. I don't care what the hell you bring, a knife, whatever. You need to be armed. You need to be armed.
I wouldn't recommend a burner gun, but I would get your license to carry. I have mine.
I have a burner gun here in Maryland because Maryland's gun laws, and Seth knows this, are hell in DC as well. But I do have constitutional carry in the state of Florida. So thank God we're the 27th state to have constitutional carry. But it's disgusting. It's really nasty. And what this does is it stops people from coming to events. It stops people from coming to rallies. Seth and I, we put on rallies within 5 days of each other, within a week. Fred, Seth, and I I don't want people to be like, oh, I'm not coming because I'm afraid there's going to be shit. I'm afraid. First of all, we can't live in fear. I don't live in fear. If I die with honor. But that's what they want. That's what they want. They want us to stop doing these rallies. They want us to stop supporting Israel and asking for the release of hostages, because when the Hamas people do it, they have hundreds of thousands of people that come from all over the country and the world. And they probably come with guns, and they probably come with knives and Molotov cocktails and all this crap. So it's a real problem. It's a real problem. And then here's another clip. We have a pro-Hamas protester at the National Security Forum. Let's show that, please.
Change and bring about a more adaptable culture.
Please get off stage, please. Pretty please, I'm being nice. I'm asking.
Punch her.
Why is he not punching her in the face?
Punch her in the face.
Gio. Behind me.
Sorry, I feel that way.
Someone needs to snatch her up by her fucking throat and slam her down face first, and then handcuff her and drag her off by her hair. But no,
Drag her off. Why is she running this show?
Wonderful.
because they want to be nice.
Mr. Secretary,
You can't tell
This
anybody
is called freedom of speech.
people are allowed
You can't
to
tell
speak their
anybody no
mind,
now. But
ask
you do
questions
your
of their governments,
Freedom
because
of
the
speech.
adversaries we're up against, whether they're the genocidal communists in Beijing
We can end the
or
clip
the
there.
Salafi
Let's end the
jihadists
clip
in the
there.
Middle East,
Talk
don't
about
allow such luxuries of their own citizens.
Oh.
So
Demon
apologies for
Tron,
the
you
interruption.
can end the clip. Clip's done. Okay, we'll just talk. Thank you. And the clip. Thank you. Yay, Tim, you're back. Hope
Can you hear me
everything is working. Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hey, I just want to clarify real quick, everybody, just for the listeners. There are two Damons, our producer and myself, in case anyone gets confused.
Exactly.
You don't see my hands moving when they're saying end the clip, and they're not talking to me. So
Yeah. Well, after when the commercial comes, we're all going to restart and.
Yep.
Because I want you to comment. Can you hear?
What's that?
Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I can hear
Tim, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
You froze a second.
Okay.
But yes. What's up?
Okay, what's up? So Tim, so we're talking about, these pro-Hamas protesters. They stood up at the National Security Forum, and, they were basically like calling the shots.
Oh man, we're just having technical problems tonight.
Yeah, it seems
If
like
you're
it.
watching, do not be, do not be discouraged. This is unusual.
Yeah, I know.
So-
I don't know why this is happening. Alexander's
The whole-
frozen right now, but
The whole incident, the whole thing with the Hamas and the Free Palestine stuff coming just crazy. I mean, it's been going on forever, but it's been going on in America, but it's been ratcheted up, and we know it's been ratcheted. The left continues to push this narrative that Israel's bad, Jews are bad, white men are bad, whatever it is, straight people are bad, whatever stuff. Nations and people who hate America to come here, and the misery of so many people. So yeah, get them out of the country. We don't want them in this country. They're a threat to our country. You know what? And some good people are deported because of this. So be it. It's the majority of Americans we need to protect and not worry about someone's feelings being hurt because we're not letting them in. Contribute to our society and get out the people who are bad.
I don't think we should let people in for a couple of years. Shut our borders down completely until we get our shit straight here. And then let's talk about letting a few people in at a time. And if that pisses the rest of the world off, put on your big boy pants and move on, because that's how it is.
What is the legal path to that? Because I feel like if Trump could have done that, he would have.
That I'm not sure of. I mean,
yeah, no, I know. I didn't expect you to come out with the Constitution.
I would say probably.
I meant it hypothetically.
Maybe like an act of Congress to do something like that, to shut the borders completely.
Oh, but we don't have a Congress.
No, we got a bunch of ballless, sackless wonders that run around and want to be invited to all the parties and get their face in front of every camera. But when it comes time to do work, they don't want to do shit. They don't want to. The Republicans don't want to offend the Democrats. The Democrats don't care about offending the Republicans. Republicans can't sack up and fight back. They just go, "Yes, sir. Can I have another? Thank you for inviting me to the party, sir. Thank you very much. Oh, another camera. Thanks for letting me get my picture taken." They're a bunch of cowards. And we're going to lose this 4 years because of them, because they're not doing shit. And these monsters like the people in Colorado are going to keep coming in because we got nobody with a set of balls in Congress that's going to go, look, enough's enough. We're done. You do this on this American soil. The cops are coming not to arrest you, but to kill you. Don't worry about jail. You don't got to worry about that because they're going to put a bullet in your head, dump you in a dumpster, and send your family the bill for the body and the bullet. And then your family's getting kicked out of the country. We're done playing with you people. It's over. And if you don't like it and you're an American citizen, get the fuck out too. You can leave. There's no obligation for you to stay here. Leave. Go eat some rice in China for a while and tell me how you like that.
I agree with you. Damon Galdo, your comments.
Well, I would say the same thing that Seth says. I mean, basically, listen, there's a lot of horrible things that go on around the world, and we can't fix them all. You know, we can't have an open border. We can't let everybody in. And the people that we do let in that come into this country, they have to be vetted. They have to have a reason, and they have to be productive members of society. You can't come in here hating the country. You can't get elected to Congress, Jan Omar, and hate the country and say you're all about Somalia and hate white people and be openly out there saying you hate the country that you're representing. I mean, she needs to go. I mean, it's plain as day, and people need to have the balls to say she's gone. And the people that are voting her in, maybe they need to go too. I'm sorry. I mean, I know there's a certain way you have to go about things. You can't just say, okay, take away people's rights. I'm nowhere near that. But you take away your own rights when you spew hate about the country that you desire to live in. I mean, obviously, if this country was so bad, why is everyone trying to get in? Why is everyone trying to come here and then spew their hate, which is allowed? I mean, the guy in Colorado. I mean,
oh, well, he froze too. So, okay. You're back. You're okay.
Okay. But no, it's just enough is enough. And a lot of people have to stand up and do something about it. And if someone does get their rights infringed upon a little bit, maybe their due process and they're illegal and there's a technicality, get them out of here. I mean, come on. They're already illegal. They shouldn't be here. I think I could swallow that one. All right. But other than that, I mean, it can't keep going on. You can't let this happen. I mean, look at them. And, I'm a big hater of mainstream media. I can't stand them. But look at
we're not mainstream.
BBC Network. They just covered it to retract everything, saying that the Israelis killed so many Palestinians. It was like 26 died from a tank bomb that went off. Then he reported another 21 died. It was all false. They were believing what Hamas had to say, and they had to retract the entire thing.
Right.
I mean, the entire thing. I'm just so sick of the lies that they spew out. I mean, I just looked on Facebook before we came on, and our wonderful, and I'm being sarcastic, Congressman Donald Norcross, I mean, his family's crooked as the day is long. Keeps putting out there about how many people are going to lose their Medicaid over and over again. Oh, he said people are starving in New Jersey. No, they're not yet. He starts saying that the people are dying already. No, they're not. And he says that the Congressional Budget Office is already projecting, horrible things if this bill goes by. Well, guess what? How many people that work for the Congressional Budget Office donated to Democrats? Every single one of them. All of them. Not one employee donated to the Republican. So what does that tell you right there? That's partisanship as it is. So that needs to be split up. You can't have all Democrats on the Congressional Budget work for the Congressional Budget Office donate just to Democrats. They're all Democrats. So
exactly. Well, Tim, I want to ask you. I want to ask you this question. When we have you. How can people be elected to an office, Tim, when you're on a green card? How does that work?
Well, I mean, the Constitution, I don't think says much about a green card, really, with that. And obviously, we didn't even have term limits for anyone like a president up until the 40s. So I think new in contemporary times where you have these foreign-born people that are coming here and taking positions of power, and we've seen it with the illegals being able to vote and starting to get elected in certain local jurisdictions, and it needs to be challenged. But do we even have a court system that actually will uphold this? So we're in a constitutional crisis in this country because we're playing two different games. We, as in MAGA and Americans, are following the Constitution the way that it was originally intended. The left has not followed that Constitution for so long, and they have changed the game so that now we're behind the whole battle because they've broken those constitutional ways. The courts haven't done anything about it. And now we're trying to fix that mess and going through this constitutional process. And it's not easy. So then the question is, do we just follow our constitutional process, or do we need to do something different? Is it martial law that comes in and you just change the things and all that? I don't know what that answer is, but we are in a crisis, or a quagmire, as people would say in the 60s and 70s. So we need to figure it out. I'm glad President Trump's there to actually figure this out for us. And look, not everything President Trump does is great to people who are libertarian minded or conservative people. Like, he's a pragmatist. And I believe in his heart, he believes in what's best for the country. And, does that mean at this time that I might be able to overlook some things that I typically don't? I think.
Go ahead, Tim. Finish your point. Oh, you cut out.
You finished it.
You finished. Elena, jump on what Tim was saying. Finish what Tim was saying.
I'm not going to finish Tim's thought, but I will say that what concerns me about all of these, everything that all of you are saying, and what I'm hearing in the public is I'm afraid of voter apathy in the midterms and in the next election, because people are so frustrated, and Tim, and they're just exhausted from the politics, and we're looking at a Congress that is doing nothing for us. Tim Burkett today is saying that he's putting forth a bill to codify some executive orders. Finally, somebody is doing something, but the Doge cuts, it's like, why isn't that codified already? We're sitting here waiting for something to happen, and Donald Trump and the executive branch are the only ones that are doing anything. And I'm really worried about our future. If Americans don't start stepping up and running for offices, I think they're just going to sit back and fall into complete apathy, and that scares me.
I agree. That's why I'm my own political consulting firm, a political consultant. I am specifically vetting proper people and proper candidates that want to do for we the people, not people that are bought off by special interests and lobbyists. I've always said the special interests and the lobbyists in DC are detriments to our country. They're the ones that are controlling the power of the purse. They're the ones that make more money than a lot of people, and they dangle a carrot full of money in front of these politicians, and they fall for it. Or they dangle a lot of money in front of these candidates, and they fall for it. And it's disgusting. It's really disgusting. We're actually finding out that a lot of elected officials are sleeping with the special interests and lobbyists. We're actually finding that a lot of elected officials are sleeping with people in the media to get good press. It's disgusting. It's really nasty. Politics is a very nasty business. That's why we are not the fake news. We are not mainstream media. We have to thank God that we have a voice. Thank God that we have this network. Thank God that we are conservative media. And we are able to, get our voice out. But Seth, following up on Elena's point, please follow up on that.
I agree with her. I mean, a lot of my friends, I know a couple of guys that would make excellent congressmen, or leadership period at any level of government. And they've told me, no fucking way. I would not get in government if they were paying me $2 million a year. I don't want to be involved in it. It's a shit show. Nobody wants to get anything done. They're just worried about the next election cycle. And I don't want to be a part of that. And you try to find like a counter argument to it, but you can't. I can't. There's nothing I can tell them. Like, well, if you do this, people will. I mean, there's nothing you can say to them that would make them go, it's worth all the crap I got to put up with to do it. Maryland's a perfect example. Dan Cox ran for governor as Republican. He didn't kiss the right ass, so they threw him under the bus. And then the Republican Party in Maryland campaigned for the Democratic candidate for governor. And nobody gave a word. They even gave him money, and nobody said a word. And those people are still around. So, yeah, I agree 100% with Elaine. Elaine, if this doesn't change, there'll be elections will boil down to like, hey, today 300 people voted for president, and the winner had like 29 votes. It's going to get to the point where why vote? It doesn't matter. Nothing happens. Nothing changes. I hope it doesn't get that way, but I can see it going.
And I just want to say, we have two people on this program. We have Damon Galdo, who ran for Congress. Tim Fasemaker ran for Congress. Damon, you talked about possibly running for Congress again. I know Tim is planning on running for something. I cannot say. I do not speak for him. But, my point is that both of you gentlemen, you're America First guys. You believe in the people. You love your constituents. You love your state. You love your district. why do you think that? Why wouldn't the party rally behind you guys? Why, now that President Trump is in office, now that everybody's like kissing his butt, kissing his ring, saying, "Yay, we got our man in," they should be rallying for you, Damon. They should be rallying for you also, Tim. What say you, Damon?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of rhinos out there, or you want to call them uniparty as well. I know for a fact that in this congressional district, the Norcross family is not just the most powerful family in the state, but one of those powerful families in the country. And I know a lot of Republicans are entangled with the Norcrosses as well. There's kind of backroom deals, they'll allow so many Republicans, because there's such a stronghold in this part of New Jersey, anyway, Democrats do, that, they have backroom deals. Okay, we'll allow a Republican to take, so many assembly seats, and then Democrats will take the rest. So they always hold the majority. And I know that they have deals that they make, and some of the county chairs were involved with that stuff too. So 2 of them are gone. I mean, as of recently, we have 2 new ones, so hopefully they're going to do better. But I do see a lot more people getting involved. It's not just getting people out to vote. It's getting people involved to run for office, whether it be committee on up. That's what people need to do. People need to get involved. People that vote for the county chairs, people that pass legislation in assembly and state senate, starting from there going up. And I've seen a lot of people that haven't been involved before are now getting involved.
Well, Tim, I'm going to have you have the last word before we end our segment, talking about, you're an America First guy. You're planning on running. You've built such a platform. You have such a name in the Maryland area and outside. How can we get more people to, support you? Maybe not so much the party, because I know the party in Maryland, the Republican Party, is crap. But, I want to get as many people to rally behind you as possible. What is the strategy, Tim?
Did you just reveal my secret?
Oh, I don't know. I just say, if in your future, if you want to run, if you're not, I don't know, whatever you want to do. I didn't say you were running. I didn't say what you're running for.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I know that I want to continue to fight for my family, for my community, for my.
Oh no! Oh God!
You're fighting with your computer soon.
I know. Oh my God! I blame Facebook for this. I blame you, Mark Efferberg. I blame everybody who's involved. Microsoft, Bill Gates. I blame all you mofo's. And I have to. Well, no, I won't say it because it'll sound anti-Semitic. But no, I won't say it. But I can say it's. Well, I'll say it because I'm Jewish. I blame the Jewish creators of the computers for doing this. You guys are supposed to be smart, and you really screwed us all up tonight. Anyway,
what do we have next?
Anyway, so we're wrapping up this segment. We will be right back after this break.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with Alexandra Levine Live on the America's Pulse Network. You are all in with Alexandra Levine. We are still waiting for someone from the White House to come out and tell us what transpired between President Trump and Vladimir Putin on that call today. We are here live at the White House. We're waiting for White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt to come out and tell us about the updates of today, the call between President Trump and Vladimir Putin, what transpired in that call.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
Okay, everyone, moving on to segment 3, celebrity pedophiles. Ooh, there's so many of them. Oh my God. So the biggest news was, my good friend Peter Ducey at Fox News, he asked, President Trump in the Oval Office, he said, you just pardoned these 2 celebrities, the Grizzlies. Is there any way you would consider maybe pardoning your friend Diddy? Because, you were friends with Diddy. You used to hang with Diddy. I mean, this was like years ago. I mean, Trump and him were never friends, whatever. So, President Trump, he kind of, he didn't say he was going to pardon him. He says, I'll take a look at it. I'll look through everything. I'll, see the case. And of course, the mainstream media and the fake news media, they blew up and they're like, oh, President Trump's going to pardon Diddy. He's going to pardon Diddy. He's going to pardon Diddy. And we all know Diddy is a pedophile and he's a disgusting piece of crap, what he did to Justin Bieber and so forth. And, the biggest thing is, his friend, President Trump's big supporter, 50 Cent, who's also a famous rapper, he said, I will make sure that President Trump does not pardon Diddy because Diddy is disgusting. So I'm going to cater first to Seth Eisenberg. What do you think about, do you think President Trump is going to pardon Diddy? What do you think about that whole mainstream media fake news propaganda that they put out there this week?
Trump shot himself in the foot with that. He just should have said, nope, not going to do it. Next question. Even entertain it and go, well, I'm going to look at the evidence and say, no, he should have said, nope, he's a pedophile, or he's a accused pedophile. And if it comes out he is a pedophile, no, I'm not getting involved. He'll rot in prison. What he did was stupid. How he responded was dumb. He should have just been no, and then moved on. But he entertained it, explained it, kind of, mealy mouthed it, which is not unlike him. He's usually very direct and to the point. So I don't know why he was tripping over himself on that one, but I think he handled it wrong and should have just said no and not left any room for interpretation. No means no. Next question. But he didn't.
Elena, to you.
I don't think there was a right answer for him. I agree with you that I would have liked to have just heard a no, but I think from the media standpoint and the way they go after Trump, if he said no, then they would have been like, oh, he won't pardon Diddy, but he's a sexual abuser and he's been convicted of this and that, and so why wouldn't he pardon one of his cohorts? I'm just doing a terrible impression of the mainstream media right now, but truly that there is nothing that is such a touchy subject around Trump with the mainstream media, because they pounce on it whenever they can, where he has anything about sexual abuse or rape comes up, they love to just roll him into it. So he couldn't win no matter what he did.
Well, as you know, they keep trying to equate President Trump with Jeffrey Epstein. They keep saying, oh, he was Jeffrey Epstein's friend, and as you know, Jeffrey Epstein's a big pedophile. Go to you, Tim. What do you think about this? Do people they think that President Trump is going to pardon Diddy? What say you about that?
I've been talking all night, so it's like I'm getting kind of tired,
You have the floor now. Talk as much as you want.
Damon was at the freak off parties, I think, right? So I remember hearing the stories Damon was talking about when he was in the Jello and with Diddy and Fitty. Heard you guys all talking about that. So, no. I think the whole situation's crazy. And I think the best thing Trump could have done is just say, I don't know, and just move on. Because, look, he's innocent until proven guilty. He's probably guilty, but we don't know. We don't know yet. I mean, I haven't been following that trial like I did when the OJ trial was back in the 90s. But, look, Diddy probably is I've seen videos, and I know some of the stuff that they're talking about is pretty serious. So, I do think 50 Cent has a point when he talks about with Diddy, and we're hearing these things come.
Well, I was going to say, in this industry, in the music industry, and Tim and I, we've been in the music industry for a long time. They have these casting couches. They have people that could have to pay their dues to get ahead. And Justin Bieber was just a young boy, when he first started out. And there was, videos, there was pictures of him and Diddy. And, Justin Bieber has kind of come out and said that he did stuff to me. And he's come out later. Jennifer Lawrence has come out later and said that, Harvey Weinstein, forced her to take off her clothes right in front of him. I mean, that's unfortunate. And Elena, this industry too. That happens a lot. That happens a lot. Thank God I had parents that were with me all the way. They were with me at every audition. They made sure that I wasn't alone. But there's a lot of kids out there that were not, that didn't have parents like mine that could take off of work and travel with me and make sure that I wasn't alone. What say you, Elena?
We're living in a world. When I was growing up, when you were growing up, there was dark shit going on in the world. Mm-hmm. It was bad. There were creeps. There were, modeling. I remember there was this modeling agent in New York who ran ads in the paper, and he would bring girls in, and he was abusive to them and all that. And he was total scam artist. That's just one that sticks out from my childhood. Nowadays, we're living in an entirely different country where God has been put out to pasture for most people, and there's no common morality and there's no decency anymore. I wouldn't put my child in daycare these days. I wouldn't put them in a school. I wouldn't leave my child with a babysitter. That's it. You got a kid, watch your kid yourself, and never leave them in anybody else's hands that isn't a family member that you grew up with yourself. It is, we're not living in a safe place. I would go, it sounds helicopter helicopter parenting, but that's helicopter parenting is like when there were two kids and they're fighting over a toy or they're arguing over a toy, getting in the middle of it. Like, let them argue it. Let them work it out, you know, unless they're like stabbing each other, of course. But like, you know, that would be helicopter parenting, not letting them be kids. But I'm just talking about being ultra protective because the world has gone insane.
So you draw the line at knife fighting. Prior to that, it's okay. Knife fighting is where you're gonna parent.
Right. But knife fighting also encompasses like broken glass, like broken beer bottles and things like any.
I'm not giving you a hard time.
Sharp objects. Yes, that's right. But you know, hey, I grew up with 3 big sisters. I got beat up all the time. So.
And you know, Seth, let me ask you this: if you read about the Chrisleys, you know, the Chrisleys, they're from Georgia. They had a big show. I used to watch them actually, and they're very conservative. They're very pro-Trump. Now, the husband and wife, they were found guilty. You know, jury convicted them of tax evasion and fraud. Each of them were getting up a combined total of 19 years in jail. I think the wife got 7 years and the husband got like 9 years. Okay. And they've already been in jail for 2 years. And you know, Savannah, who's the daughter, she has been pleading to President Trump for years. She spoke at the RNC. She spoke at CPAC saying that her family was wrongfully accused, that they were prosecuted not correctly. And the father still pleads that he did nothing wrong. And President Trump pardoned them recently. He did full pardons for the husband and the wife. Yep. What say you about that as compared to the Diddy case?
If you're found guilty by a judge in good standing or by a jury of your peers, that's the end of the story. I don't care what little song and dance, because everybody in prison is innocent. There ain't a guilty person in jail. My lawyer screwed me. Or that wasn't me, that was my cousin. Or I wasn't even home when that happened. Nobody's guilty in prison. Everybody's got a little blues song they want to sing. You got convicted. If you don't like it, you can appeal it. You can get a different lawyer and file an appeal. And if you file an appeal and you lose, you're in jail. If I was in jail for that, you think Trump would give me a pardon? Would he give you a pardon if you were in jail for that? No. They use their celebrity to get that pardon. And it is his prerogative. I'm not knocking. He can pardon whoever he wants to. That's a perk of the job. And that's cool. That's what he wants to do. That's awesome. I don't think it's right. You go to jail, you're convicted, you go to prison. Sorry. We're not doing, unless you can show us the jury was biased or the judge was biased or that your lawyer was a complete and utter fool, you're going to do your time. Justice, that's why the lady justice wears a blindfold. She doesn't care who you are. You're found guilty. You're doing your time. Moving on to the next case. I don't agree with pardons unless it's something like get convicted for having a joint, you get 20 years. Yes, pardon that guy because that's ridiculous. But if you commit fraud or theft or murder, you don't get a pardon. No, I don't care who you are or who you know. You shouldn't get a pardon. I just don't agree with it. Never have. No matter who the president is. It doesn't matter who. I just don't agree with it.
What say you, Damon Galdo?
Well, I mean, with all this going on, I mean, putting pardons aside, I mean, that's not here and there. I mean, like, I agree with Seth with that. I mean, it is the president's. He has an ability. It's a perk, you know, to pardon people. And did they use their celebrity to get pardoned? Absolutely, they did. Should somebody like Diddy get pardoned? I mean, why even ask the question? Number one, like, what kind of questions have they asked the president? Are you going to pardon P. Diddy?
They do it on purpose for clickbait.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's stupid, but what's Trump going to do? He's going to say, well, I don't know. Of course, he's going to lead them into what Trump loves to toy with the media, which I don't mind at all. But he says, well, you know, we don't really talk that much anymore. He said something along those lines. He's not really that friendly to me anymore. Like if he was, he would do it. You know, I mean, that's how the media is going to run with it. That's why I love Trump. He just trolls them. So, but the reason why things are so normalized now, it's just the moral depravity of things. I mean, what I talked about earlier, that guy, Darren, what's his name? Aggie McGurdy, the guy in LA, you know, he's a multiple child sex offender. And he walks into a spa and gets naked in front of children. And he was let go by a jury of his peers because they couldn't prove that he had an erection. So what does that matter? You know, he whipped it out in front of kids. So, but it's just a little bit more. Let this go. Let this go. Let this go. Just give them a little bit more, and then it becomes normal. And then when you just like pedophiles, would they start calling them child attracted persons or something like that?
Yeah, minor attracted.
Making it less serious. No, he's a fucking pedophile. That's what it is. They're not going to change the name. So it's the more and more that we just start walk the line. No, they feel this way. No, they have a fucking problem. They're social mental cases. They really have an issue. Just like, I'm sorry, just like trans people. It's called gender dysphoria. It's a psychological issue. I don't hate anybody that's like that. I mean, it's a problem for them. But if they want to indulge it as an adult, then have at it. If you don't want to get help. But you can't normalize it. You can't say, oh, it's normal. He's a man. He wants to cut it all off and walk around in a dress. No, it's not normal. I'm sorry. That's not what you're supposed to do. That's not what you were made for. It's not what God put you on this earth.
So guys, we just have one last segment, and we'll talk about it very briefly. We call it the summer of love, the summer of flu, the scamdemic. Now, the stupid COVID experts or the experts are saying, oh, there's a new COVID virus coming out. They've suggested people to mask up again and, of course, take your 50 COVID shots. And this is going to be a bad one, because, the summer is just prone for everybody to get sick and get COVID and just end up in a hospital, et cetera. What say you about this crap, how these, quote, experts, and we know they're not really experts, they get paid to do this crap. All of a sudden, they're pushing this new COVID variant that's going to come out, and it's going to affect our entire summer. Elena, get it to you.
They could tell me that there's going to be a newer, deadlier strain of the bubonic plague, like nothing we've ever seen. And you know what I would do? I would go to Home Depot and get myself a wheelbarrow. That's it. I don't care. I'm not following rules. I'm not taking shots. I'm not putting on masks that don't work. I'm not standing 6 feet apart. I don't care. That's what I say about it. I don't trust the experts. And it's a shame because there really could be something that comes down the line, but they have cried wolf with us so many times. They've gaslit us. They've lied to us. It's all a world of fake news. Everything I ever thought was real is not. It's a bunch of BS. So, sorry, I don't trust you anymore. I'm going to get the wheelbarrow. That's it.
Seth, what say you? I know you have some thoughts, some very colorful thoughts.
I knew she was serious when she started doing this. I was like, oh, now here it comes. We're all going to
get I knew it was this
one. I'm going to use common sense. I don't need somebody with a bunch of letters after his name telling me, oh, this is going to make, your ears fall off. You're going to grow a third arm and turn purple. You got to do this. You know what? I live in the real world. So as I go to work and interact with people, if I notice people are getting really sick, then maybe I'll do something. Maybe I'll go, yeah, maybe I should wear a mask. Or maybe I should go see my doctor or do this. But just because some idiot with a bunch of letters after his name tells me I got to do it, like Lane said, at this point, I'm done. I don't believe anything you tell me. You could have Jesus Christ stand next to you and go, look, this is going to kill us all. We need to wear a mask. I still wouldn't believe you. I would say, you're full of shit. You're just saying this. It's ridiculous. But the problem is they say this because there's enough morons out there that will toe the company line and do exactly as they're told without question. I mean, look at the last COVID. People standing 6 feet apart, wearing homemade contraptions that looked like parachutes that kept people 6 feet apart. Had lines in the supermarket because, if you walked up the right way, that kept COVID at bay. People will do it. I mean, I got yelled at the supermarket for not wearing a mask. And I was like, you know what? You have a mask on. You shouldn't be worried about it then. You should be just fine as you touch every goddamn thing in the store that everybody else has touched. But that mask is what's going to protect you. People are sheep. In general, people are sheep, and they will believe anything they're told by anybody in a white coat with a stethoscope across their neck that says, hey, I'm a doctor, and you should listen to me. I'm done listening to him. Like she said, I'm done. I will use my own eyes and common sense and be observant of what's around me. And if it looks bad, I will take precautions I feel are necessary for me and my family and my son. If nothing's going on, I'm not walking around like an idiot with a mask on. I'm not going to do it.
Well, Damon, I want to ask you this question because a lot of Americans are realizing, the ones that took the vaccine, that they're getting a lot of these bad side effects. So a lot of them feel gypped. And I have a lot of friends that took the vaccines that deeply regret it. They're having all these health problems. A new study came out, and actually my Surgeon General in Florida, our Surgeon General, Elena, he came out and said that guys that took the mRNA vaccines between the ages of 18 to 39, they're getting myocarditis, they're getting strokes, they're getting brain aneurysms. I mean, this is some sick stuff that Dr. Fauci and others pushed upon our young people. What say you about that, Damon?
If I was asked to wear a mask again or get more vaccine, a simple answer, no. I mean, so I'll just let it go right there. No, I'm not doing it. Sorry.
But well, that's great. But my question to you was, all these people that got vaccinated that are suffering now, that feel it. How do you put yourself in their shoes? Now there's a new variant coming out. They want you to mask again. I don't want you to speak for them, but if you were them, how would you feel?
Well, I'd be very upset. I mean, I know I got the COVID shot, and then I got the second one. And the only reason why I did, my sister has stage 4 breast cancer, and the whole scare was if she gets it, so I was like, okay, I'll get it. I didn't get any boosters after that, nothing, because I got COVID twice afterwards anyway. But when I did get the shot, I noticed that my testosterone levels took a dive big time. They're back up now. I mean, I'm just, I'm going with.
I'll have to ask your wife on that one. I'm just kidding.
No. She'll tell you. It's like the first time ever. I was like, what's going on here? but no, but seriously, about just the way I felt, like being tired and everything else, and and I would go to work out, and I'm like, man, I just don't have it in me. What's going on? And I went to the doctors, and my testosterone just plummeted out of nowhere. And it was right after the shot. Now I don't know if it was from that. It seems like it probably was, but I mean, everything's back to normal now. Just like eating different and working out, they're back up. But my father-in-law, unfortunately, he was sick with cancer at the time, and they told him to get the shot. One doctor said don't, because his heart was in such bad shape. He had cancer, and he got it, and he died a couple of weeks later. And I mean, do I know it was definitely from that? No, but should he have gotten a shot? No, either. So a lot of people have been affected either directly or indirectly through family members, and yeah, I feel for them. I feel for anyone that was affected by it.
I'd like to add something.
Go ahead, Elaine. Go ahead.
No, I just want to add that you can't sue Big Pharma for these vaccine injuries. That is the biggest scam that our legislature has perpetrated on us, because they bought that protection when they lined pockets, when they fund campaigns. Big Pharma has no business whatsoever. I'll agree with Elizabeth Warren. Remember when she was running for president, and this is, make note of this because I never agree with Elizabeth Warren, that she was saying that there should be no corporate donations to campaigns. And she swore that she and her presidential campaign was not going to take any corporate donations, which she went back on like immediately because she didn't have any money, and she still was like way at the bottom. I mean, she's such a hypocrite, but I kind of agree with her. Get your signatures. I don't know what the answer is to funding campaigns, but corporations buying protections for evil things like this. Millions of people with myocarditis. They're saying that it's affecting pregnant women differently, and it's affecting reproductive health. They deserve to burn for that, not be protected by the U.S. government.
I agree. My grandfather, he was healthy his whole life. My grandfather was nation, didn't get pneumonia, didn't get anything. All of a sudden he gets 2 shots of the Pfizer vaccine, and then he ends up with COVID, and then he dies of bilateral pneumonia out of nowhere. And when my grandfather got COVID, nobody wanted to do anything to help him, because the answer was, well, your grandfather's old, he's 98 and a half years old, he's going to die anyway. And if it wasn't for me working with my governor to get him the monoclonal antibody treatment shot Regeneron, he would have died sooner. I helped him. I gave him an extra life to live, but he should have lived longer. And that's what's happening, is that people were forced, to take the vaccine if they lived in private facilities or even opera companies. Like, I couldn't go sing at the Metropolitan Opera House unless I was jabbed 50 times. And my opera career did take a hit because I decided not to take any jabs, because I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to breathe. And as a singer, you must breathe. That's the only way we can sing. We have to breathe. And I was reading all these divers were not being able to breathe or hold their mouth underwater long enough after they took the vaccine. So I was very scared to take this thing. And I took a hit in my opera career. But now that, President Trump is in the White House, he has vehemently said, and we do have a clip we can play very quickly, Damon Sherrod, of President Trump's message to the American people in regards to this.
Their sudden fear-mongering about the new variants that are coming. These are bad people. These are sick people we're dealing with. But to every COVID tyrant who wants to take away our freedom, hear these words: we will not comply. So don't even think about it. We will not shut down our schools. We will not accept your lockdowns. We will not abide by your mask mandates. And we will not tolerate your vaccine mandates. I will use every available authority to cut federal funding to any school, college, airline, or public transportation system that imposes a mask mandate or a vaccine mandate. Thank you very much.
There we go. That's from the president himself. The president said, none of this BS, none of it. So guess what? He said, I'm not going to comply. Guess what? I'm not going to comply. And I hope everyone in my network doesn't comply. And I hope we, the people, don't comply, because that is straight words from the man himself. He said, do not comply. And we're not going to comply.
When was that video made? Because that looks like it was a couple years old from his Agenda 47 series.
That was put out recently by.
I was going to ask you about that too, because I didn't know if it was real or not. I never seen him say that. So, but not that he wouldn't. I know that's something that he would definitely say. But
I just didn't know if he's saying that in really. Yeah, if it just doesn't look like. It looks like his old stuff. I mean, it doesn't mean it's not new. I mean, but I'm just saying that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, that was put out recently by Chuck Callisto, who's a big influencer down in Florida. Nick Sorter, he's a big reporter in New York. He put that out there. So did Gunther Eagleman, who's a big influencer as well, and Katzert as well. So that was put out by all three of those gentlemen. Maybe they resurfaced it, but I mean, it was they when they put it out, they didn't say this is an old clip of President Trump. When they put it out, they said this is what President Trump said. But again, if they try to push this crap, like, unfortunately, Seth and I, we don't live, I mean, I don't live, but I reside in a state, and I reside in a much harsher county than Seth does, where we have crazy county executives, crazy mayors, a crazy freaking governor that would love to just mandatory mask us and mandatory vaccinate us. And where I have a residency in Montgomery County, 96% of the people are vaxxed once, 86% of the people are vaxxed twice, but the county executive still wanted to push a vaccine mandate on all the residents in Montgomery County. Thank God that the Montgomery County Council said no, because the argument was, why do you want everybody in Montgomery County to be vaccinated when 96% of them got the first vax, 86% of them got the second vax? How much more vaccinated do they need to be? But that could happen again. That could happen in Maryland again. It could happen in liberal states again. It could happen in New Jersey, Damon, where you live. I know our governor, Ron DeSantis, he won't do that crap. We know that. We don't have to worry about him. But it's very scary. So I will resurface that video. If, God forbid, Governor Westmore comes out with his BS, or if my county executive comes out with that BS in Maryland, because I will not comply. I did not wear masks in hospitals. I did not wear masks outside. And let me tell you something, when they forced us to wear masks on airplanes, I wore that N95 mask, which was supposed to be the best mask in the world. And I got COVID in Dallas, Texas for a month. It was in January 2022. I had it for an entire month. I had the Delta variant. So I'm a prime example of the masks being bullshit, because they are bullshit and they don't protect you. And it's all crap. And you kiss a man or a woman and you get more sick kissing somebody than putting a goddamn mask on. And that's the truth. And what say you? We'll just end the topic with that, Elena.
I don't necessarily trust that our elected officials won't fold if presented with something that they haven't seen before. That's where I'll end that. We can play that video all day long, but if he sees something crazy, biological weapon, or or something that of some sort, who knows what they're going to do. I don't trust the government, even the people in the government that I love.
Damon Galda, final thoughts.
Well, I mean, Elena, you are right. I mean, if they see something coming down the pipeline they've never seen before, it does scare people and they overreact. And it might be the general consensus of people as well, elected or not elected. If they see something coming down the line, that they see people dying around them, people get scared. They want to stay inside. They call for their leaders to say, "Oh, lock everybody down, keep these people away from me," because if you don't know, and uncertainty, draws a lot of fear. So it's always possible. I mean, but you have a lot of bad things that are going on. I mean, look at the people, the two Chinese students, I forget what college it was. I just heard about it my way home from work, that were developing these mushrooms in a lab that were like a bio some kind of bio warfare, whatever it might have been. I don't know anything about it yet, so I'm not going to speak upon it. I just heard about it. But there's always something bad out there. So I don't know. I mean, it's to each your own what you do with it. You know.
And Seth, final thoughts.
I agree. It should be your decision. You shouldn't have to do it because somebody in DC says you have to. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get a booster, get a booster. If you want to lock yourself in your house and not come out for 6 years because you're afraid you're going to catch something, by all means, if that's your choice, I will support it. But don't do it just because you're told to. Don't do it out of fear. Just use your goddamn head for something other than a hat. Think. If people had thought during COVID, I think after about 6 months, they'd been like, this is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
You say COVID's still here, but we're doing everything you told us to do to make it go away. I'm not playing this game anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go do what I want to do. I'm going to go eat. I'm going to go hang out and do what I want. Just, if you're going to make the decision to do it, make sure it's your decision and you're basing it on facts and not on fear. That's all I'm saying. And like I said, I won't knock you. If you choose to do it, that's fine. That means you've done the research, you've educated yourself, and you want to wear the mask. Great. I'll support you.
People aren't educating themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I think is funny is when people wear masks when they're in their cars. I think that's awesome. That's the best. And not only do they wear the mask, they put the visor over their heads while they're in the cars. And I'm like, I didn't know you could get COVID like in your car. Like I didn't know that it's
I drive by them like this when I see people like that.
I used to take pictures of those people. I used to take pictures of those people because I'm like, this is crazy. You have like a triple mask on with a visor, with like a double visor, and then gloves on. I mean, I was just like, what the hell?
And
on top of it, if I see these people again,
in the car, there's nobody else
just lock yourself in the car.
It's just them.
And there's people that have fear. There's people that still have fear. They're afraid to leave their home because they're afraid if they go out, oh my God, they're going to get COVID, which of course, when you stay at home and real doctors have actually proven this actually lowers your immune system. Mm-hmm. So you stay at home, you stay at home, you stay at home. Then when you finally go out, of course, you're going to get sick immediately because you've locked yourself in for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. You need to get out. This is the summer. Most places like in Maryland today was 90 degrees. I was so happy to go outside. I feel the heat. The heat kills the virus. It was proven that heat kills the virus. It's better even when you're sick to go outside because you're getting that vitamin C, you're getting the vitamin D, the vitamin E. You need to be out. I don't want people staying locked up in their homes. I don't want people living in fear. We know now that a lot of this crap was a hoax. There were people that really did need to take the shot, but there was a lot of people that didn't need to take the shot. Perfectly healthy people did not need to take the shot, but a lot of them were forced to because of jobs, because of whatever, because their spouses forced them to take the vaccines. I know there was families, they wouldn't see each other unless they got the vaccines. They wouldn't see their grandchildren unless their grandchildren got the vaccines. I mean, it's crazy stuff. It's complete crazy stuff. So I pray to the American people. I pray that you don't comply. I pray that you wake up. And like Seth said, you have the God-given right to do whatever you want. You have the God-given right to make the decision. If you want to wear the mask, if you want to take the shot, whatever. But please, guys, don't fall for it. I think a lot of people fell for it. Don't fall for it again. Well, this has been a great jam-packed hour. I'm so sorry for the technical issues. I feel so bad for our friend Tim Fazenmaker. He will be back. And please follow Tim Fazenmaker. Follow him on X at America One, Tim Fazen. Follow him on Facebook, Tim Fazenmaker. Follow everyone here, Seth Eisenberg, The Conservative Corner, every Sunday night from 7 to 8:30. You can follow him on X as well, on Facebook, Seth Eisenberg. Don't forget to follow Damon Galdo on the Jersey Shore. And what are your hours now, Damon? I think your hours changed.
Well, they're Monday and Friday at 8 p.m. For the podcast, and then obviously this show, and then on Thursdays 5 to 6 p.m. on Cruiser 92.1 WVLT. You can get that on Facebook Live or through Google if you don't live in the area to get the radio.
It's a good show.
Awesome. And Elena, how can we follow you?
I am at The Based Mother on all the usual social channels: Rumble, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok.
Awesome. And I'm Alexandra Levine Live. My show is an hour now. It's from 8 to 9 p.m. now, Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can follow us all at America's Pulse Network on Rumble, at America's Pulse Network now on Truth Social, and America's Pulse Network on YouTube. And I think we're going on Facebook soon. And of course, you can follow me, Alexandra Levine, on Facebook, at Alexandra Levi20 on X, at AR Levine 85 on Rumble, at AR Levine 85 on Truth Social. I'm everywhere. So you can find me. And guys, you watch this because when you watch this, your pulse keeps racing. We'll be back next week. Thank you guys so much.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.